Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Moms in the Huddle. We're in the huddle. No parent stands alone. I am your host. I'm not the lone host tonight. We're going to have Jillian join us pretty soon. But I am your host, Erika Morgan. I am the mother of C.O.A.H. Morgan. He plays at UCLA. Go Bruins. And because he played at UCLA, he is one of the most dynamic wide receivers that I've seen to ever do it in the game, as well as I'm the mom of Tyler. Tyler is my eldest child, in which, like he told me, he's going to school to be a carpenter now. So we thank God for that. But I will say thank you for joining Moms in a Huddle tonight. Jillian is on her way. She has not lost. There she go right there. She is in a huddle with us tonight, y'all, looking fabulous. And that's what happens. In a huddle, no parent stands alone. We show y'all the real things of what happened, mom life, right? Hey, Jill. Uh-oh. And her voice, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's your mic or something. We can't hear you. But that's okay. Because on Moms in a Huddle, we know how to improvise, right? We the type of moms to be like, okay, that happened. That's okay. Keep it moving. Well, y'all are here definitely for a good subject tonight. But I will say a lot has been going on. A lot has been happening in the arena of sports, right? Also in the arena of NIL, in the arena of coaches, right? One of the big things we want to talk about tonight is coaches. Okay. And a coach is a key player in your child's life. So while Jillian get her audio and everything together there, I'm just going to briefly just let everyone know that is joining tonight. If you're able to, we will be taking comments and questions. So make sure you go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook page, go to where else? Facebook, LinkedIn, and follow us. And when you go on there, you can ask questions. I see Gigi is here. Gigi, thank you for being so much of a supportive person. You've been supporting our family. Oh my gosh, since the beginning days at Michigan. So Gigi, we just want to thank you for always joining in on Moms in a Huddle, because we know you are a parent too. And I think your baby also play as well. We want to talk to parents that have younger kids that are playing. She has a beautiful young girl and she's a girl. So we talk about a lot of the boys, but we also have little girls out here playing, and she's also a parent in the huddle. Gigi, we want to thank you for coming and being a part of Moms in the Huddle tonight. Where even though we have a little technical difficulties on the side with Jillian, this is Moms in a Huddle with Jillian and Erika, and we both love bringing different things to you. We're going to be bringing more things to the parents as it relates to how college coaches are recruiting players, or how the NFL is working as it relates to if your kid is about to be drafted. There are things that's happening in our lives to where a lot of our boys are getting ready to go to their next pinnacle, their next things in life. So again, if you are a parent in a huddle, don't forget, Moms in a Huddle is every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when it comes down to talking about different things in the huddle, we're going to talk about it. We're going to keep it real. One of the things we're talking about tonight is the 5 signs of a real coach. And here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand what that means. When you talk about somebody coaching, people may see that, your kid is out there and they're playing and they just see the coach on the sideline coaching. But do you know the art of being a good coach takes more than just being on a sideline coaching? These kids are looking up to a lot of these coaches to really cultivate who they are. So I think that when we talk about being a coach, okay, we talk about understanding what a coach does. A coach does 2 things that I see from my vision. They invest in your kids, okay, and they are the example for your kids with the sports. A lot of times coaches are coaching, number one, for the simple fact because they love the game itself. A lot of coaches, you find that they've actually played the sport, right? I can remember when we were when C.O.A.H. was being recruited at the University of Michigan, and whenever we would talk with different coaches, we would talk with Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh would always let us know how excited he was about the game. But the number one thing he would always say, I set an example for these boys. And when you send your boys to us, you can definitely trust me, right? So when we think about coaching and coaching being a real coach, right? When we say real coach, moms in a huddle, we talking about a coach that makes impact, right? Most coaches understand five things, and we want to talk about the five things. And I know Jillian's going to be back pretty soon, but even if she's not back, we're going to keep this show going because we're not going to stop bringing you good content. So as it relates to one of the signs we're going to talk about, and I'm going to start it off, we're going to talk about composure. Now, that word is a big word, right? When you think about composure, right? You're thinking about a coach having composure doing what? During the game. So there she go.
I don't know why I look so great. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Sure, I done gave my introduction. And here's the thing. Go ahead and give your intro. Everybody know who you are.
Well,
Go
I'll just repeat
Go
what I
ahead.
say over and over again. Well, again, my
Go
name is
ahead.
Jillian Blackwell. Thank you so much for holding it down, Erica. My name is Jillian Blackwell. I am the mom of three amazing, talented, and just about the handsomest men I know on earth besides my husband. My oldest son is Mackenzie. We call him Big Mac Blackwell. My middle son is Jonathan Blackwell. And my youngest son is Lil Rob, or he ain't little no more, Rob Blackwell. And the reason why we're here is we've spent years and years and years in the gym somewhere, on the field somewhere. And we just decided to build a community around moms being in a huddle with our children and educating them around this new landscape called college sports. So that's
Yeah.
why we're
Yeah, and that's why we're here, because in the
here.
huddle, no one stands alone. With Jill, I was starting off our conversation, but I want to kind of throw the baton to you. We're talking tonight about five signs of a real coach. We put that in air quotes, right? Because
Yes.
we want to make sure that parents understand. We're talking about the real coach. We're not talking about the little coach on the side that don't know what they're doing, or the coaches that just come to coach for money, or the coaches that they're just there not setting great examples. However, we're talking about real coaches. So, Jill, how about you go ahead and talk about the first
Yeah.
one, which was composure? What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, when we think about coaches are leaders, right? And when you think about someone who is leading, you want to start with how are they handling themselves? Like in a game, do they have composure? Are they when the pressure
Jill, it
pushes
looked like
them?
you're frozen, but I guess that's okay. We could still hear you, but it does
Uh-oh.
look like you're frozen.
We just having a night, aren't we? We just
That's okay.
having a night.
We can hear you great, though. You sound
Okay.
great.
All right. Well, hopefully the technical difficulties will end. But when we think about composure, bad calls will happen, right?
Yeah.
Missed shots will happen, turnovers will happen, losers will happen, right? But composure means you don't embarrass your players, you
Mm,
don't explode on the sideline, you don't let ego lead the moment. Because if
yeah,
you can't control yourself, you can't control or lead someone else's child,
that's
right?
right.
And
That's right.
so our children are looking at you to see, how do I act when things aren't going my way? How do I act when
Mm,
I'm in a disagreement with a referee? How do I act when I'm in a disagreement with a parent? Right? Do I
yeah.
have composure? Can I uh control my emotions? And
Mm,
so the reason why this is so important is because whether it is elementary, middle school, high school, or college, you are people, you got eyes, all eyes on you, coach.
yeah.
From the parents that are in the stand, from the referees, you are the leader. And so it amazes me when children act up or act the same way a coach acts,
Mhm.
and the coach get confused. And I'm like, well, he acting like you. And we can use that same example. Again, primarily we're talking about leadership. We can use that same example when it comes to us, the way we govern ourselves. Like we can't govern ourselves and we see our children act up. I'm reminded of my girlfriend Toy. She was telling a story about one time she was teaching her younger son, I think at that time it might have been Luke, how to drive. I
Mhm.
don't even think it was Luke, how to drive. And she was driving and someone cut her off. And she immediately got in her emotions and she catch that driver right there, right? And her son was driving. And the Holy Spirit was like, do you see this kid is white? So she had to compose herself to
Mm.
say, oh my God, and apologize to herself. But while she was apologizing to herself, no, mama, I'm about to get him. I'm almost there. You got that energy, that excitement, that non-composure, that non-discipline rubbed over on her child because he was mirroring what he saw his mama do. He saw his mama give the okay, that it is okay to act crazy. It's not. And
No.
so again, we're talking to coaches specifically, but this can apply to you as a parent, it can apply to you as a teacher, it can apply to anything. You got eyes on you. And so if you can't, again, want to coach and lead, you have to have composure.
Absolutely. You definitely do, because what you have to understand is leadership starts with self-control, right?
No,
And
100%.
by the time you are a leader, you say coach. You know what I found out what the word coach meant, right? Coach is one of those words that just originated to say you coaching this kid because they're in a certain sport. But when I looked up what the word coaching really meant, Jill, it really means when they were people traveling on a coach, a horse.
Yes,
Yes. And so what happens is this coach from one area to the next, meaning from area to the destination, and it carried the people, right?
Yeah.
So when you look up the terminology of what the word coach means, the word coach is when your kid is joining a program, they are carrying your kid to one destination to another. They're coaching, they're assisting to get somewhere, right? Yes. That's really where the term originated from. But you made such a great point when you talked about how coaches, and when they're out there, they have to set the example, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And one part of setting, one of many parts, but one part of it is, are you composed? So what's the next one?
You know what? The next one,
while I go on mute and answer the call from my son who probably needs a ride home.
Oh my word. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. The next one is ownership. You know, when you think about ownership, I like putting a lot of this stuff in context so people can understand what it means. A lot of people that may listen to our show may be homeowners, right? They also may own their vehicle. I know, Jill, you talk about, you say, listen, I own my vehicle outright. So you taking ownership of whatever it is. If you own something, that means you possess it, that is yours. So then that means when you take ownership of what? The way you're acting, your behavior, it is your responsibility when things go wrong. So here's the thing. The best example I can give you is when it comes down to it, and I could say, I believe I saw something, I saw a coach lose self-control when he was at, I believe it was Juwan Howard, I want to say at the University of Michigan, maybe a year or two ago, maybe before it changed.
When he smacked the assistant coach at University of Wisconsin.
Well, come on. Yes. Here's why I look at him a little differently after he lost composure, right? Yeah. The first one was composure. We talked about that. Yeah. Being that example. But the second one is ownership. Yeah. Later on, he came back and said, that's on me, right? He said, I got to take accountability for what I showed, even though he may have said, I saw somebody put their hands on one of my players. But the thing is, even if you did, as a coach, we saw on national TV, you lost your composure, but here's what you came and you did afterwards. You came and took ownership. You owned it. You said, that was on me. I should not have done it. He apologized. So that's one beautiful thing about ownership when you do take responsibility, meaning ownership builds maturity. Excuses builds fragility, meaning how fragile you can break. You don't ever want a person to see you break. You get what I'm saying? But if you do, own up to it.
Own up to it, boo-boo. Yeah.
To it in a way that will have kids understand, because now they're looking at that example. Then what'll happen is they'll say, oh, let me own up to that too. Right?
That's good.
Because what I don't want people that's listening to us to think that everything is hunky-dory, everything is perfect, and you're going to lead a perfect life and you're never going to do anything wrong. But if you do lose your composure, but knowing ahead of time is good too. There are two groups of people in the world. Those that listen ahead of time and those that learn the hard way because you got a hard head, right?
Yes. Yes.
Here's the situation. Those that learn ahead of time listen to what we're saying. But those that got a hard head also listen to what we're saying. Own up to it.
Own up to it. Own your stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and that goes a long way. Think about, again, one of the things that I have said for years, I'm raising someone's husband. I'm raising a future husband. I always say these kids are small, but they're, especially, I have 3 boys. You have 2.
Yeah.
They came out small, but they're like little men, right? And so I always just say I'm raising somebody's husband. So I want to think about that in the translation of a relationship. So if
Yeah.
you're raising a young man who can't own up to his stuff, my bad, I made a mistake. It is, I think it's weakness when you can't take on ownership, when you're pointing the finger. So you're blaming a ref, you're blaming the other team, you're blaming your players, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Own up to your stuff. And what that allows individuals that are around you to do is that they can own up to their stuff. Everybody's taking accountability.
Yeah, because in the end, though, Jill, it's one of those things that accountability actually, when you don't take accountability, it actually creates a prideful person. And here's what happens with pride. Pride comes into the heart very slick. It's slick. It'll start with saying, no, that's not me. To, I don't know what you're talking about, to where you begin to deceive your own self mentally. And see, accountability humbles you. It actually says, I'm wrong on that, my fault, right?
Yeah.
And so when a coach can actually say I'm wrong on it or humble themselves, I've seen a great example that was actually this year with the Ohio State. Here's the thing. We were at Michigan. Oh, Michigan played Ohio State. Ohio State came and won at our facility at University of Michigan, fair and square. Them boys outplayed, in my opinion, the University of Michigan this year. Well, he had already tucked his head 4 years behind his head, or 3 years that Michigan, 4 years that Michigan had won. But do you know, in his press conference, he says, it's not about us just winning. He kind of just said, we're going to move on. And this was a good game. Both teams played. He didn't gloat about it. He had a humility about himself. He took ownership for the times he lost, but he also took this ownership and cultivated composure to say, yeah, I stuck it to y'all, but it's not for me to just rub it in your face. So I say that was at that point, what we seen was Ryan Day was an example of a good coach to show his team players how to say, we won, but let's move on to the next game. That's because we got other games to play beside this one that we won. And we wanted to win it, but we was able to still win it, and we know how to move on with class. See, that's what it is with a great coach. I always seeing good coaches that operate in that spirit.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That, I mean, again, you can gloat, you can talk about over, but he was focused. He was like, let's move on. So we talked about composure. We talked about having accountability. The second one, if you don't know, we're spelling the word, the terminology. We're using certain terminology, but we're spelling the word, the acronym is COACH. So the first one is composure. The second letter is what again?
Ownership.
And the third one, A, is alignment. So a real coach and leader tries to the best of their ability, creates alignment. And so when you think about alignment, it means like everyone knows the goal. Here's where we're going. There's we're not confused. There's no ambiguity. I always pronounce it ambiguity. Everyone knows the goal. Everyone knows their role, right? This is your role, Johnny. This is what I need you to do. Paul, this is your role. This is your responsibility. Everybody understands the expectation. Okay, the expectation is we're bringing 100% to the game. This is what I'm doing. As a coach, here's my role and my responsibility. As assistant coach, whatever it is, you're aligning with parents. This is your role and your responsibility. We're all aligned and we're all supporting each other. So alignment means there's no favoritism. Because when there's favoritism, there's confusion. We're all teammates. We might have starters, but I treat everybody like a starter, right? There's no mixed messages. Okay, this is we're not doing something one way on Wednesday, and this is how we operate differently on Thursday.
Right.
There's no silent treatment leadership.
Yeah.
How can you be aligned and you ain't talking to me?
That's
I know you mad, and I know we might have lost that game, and I shot really bad, but that goes back to composure. Okay, so I'm self-regulated, I understand what's going on, but I
Yeah.
still got to talk. I still got to speak up.
Wow.
So, when I think about if the locker room is not aligned, the scoreboard will show it. If the team is
Ooh,
not aligned, it's going to show up on the stats.
and
If they're
yeah.
not aligned, it's going to come out in the words that they use. You know, the alignment shows even in body language. I used to say this all the time.
Yeah.
When I was a young girl, um, I used to go to this church and I used to watch my pastor's wife whenever he spoke. I
Mm,
watched her body language
mm.
because I knew if he was saying something right, they weren't in alignment. If she was like, praise the Lord. You
Mm.
know,
Well, you
you
know what? She lived with him.
she lived with him. So I'm looking like, okay, sister, I'm probably 12 or 13 years old. And I knew that at that age. If
Oh,
there was no alignment, I could tell by the wife. She ain't got to say a word.
alignment is another word for unity too.
Unity and oneness. If we go, one of my favorite scriptures of passages, it talks about, you talked about unity. When there's strife and division, there's every
E-
evil work. And I
mm,
always envision, so you got your cousin strife and division, and they're okay, you can deal with them. But the Bible clearly says when you have strife and division, every evil work is invited. So you
mm,
got jealousy, you got anger, you got everything because you open up the door to
mm.
not being aligned, to not operate in unity and oneness. And so again, when I see it all the time, when teams are not aligned, whether it's a elementary school all the way to professional sports, they're not
Yeah.
aligned, it shows up.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
show up. You're so right, and I love that you brought that scripture up because we talked about it before about having unity. And when teams are unified, the Bible talks about it in Psalms 133. It says how when brethren dwell together in unity, it is at that place that God will come
And
bless.
the blessing.
And
Yes.
what happens is we'll listen and we'll see, when teams are not unified, when coaches are not unified. And to be honest with you, I've been a part of many coaching systems that operated in unity and coaching system that operated in division. So what
Yeah.
happens is you can tell when the division happens because it's normally shown in how the team plays. Like you said,
Right.
Jill, one of
Yeah.
the in which it is so abrupt where you're like, oh, that coach doing his own thing. Well, wait a minute, it's 10 coaches, 6 going this way, 4 going
Right.
over here. So then
Right.
you're trying to figure out, and here's what the kids are doing. They're trying to figure out, who should I follow? Should I follow my head
Exactly.
coach, or should I follow my position coach, or should I follow
Right.
the coach that ain't even on the squad? He on another team, and you're telling the kid how to be with another coach. So here's the situation. The alignment matters,
The alignment so matters. It so matters.
you know?
Yeah.
So
And
I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetheart.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I was just want to say that our kids deserve clarity and alignment. They do not deserve to be in a space where there's confusion. Because
Mm,
keep in mind, what does it say? Especially men, the man's brain doesn't develop until their doesn't
the
develop till they're 25. And so if you're operating in a space where you're not aligned and there's confusion,
yeah.
you're going to carry that over until your relationship. I remember again, I think my son had to be one of my sons. He was young and he kept coming home saying, Coach said, Coach said, Coach said. And I
Mhm.
realized the impact that coaches were having.
Yeah.
Think about all the time they spend with coaches. They're at practice, they're on
Mhm.
the road. And so
Yeah.
coaches have, I think it was Billy Graham who said, a coach will have more influence to a person than anyone else in their life.
Mm.
I'm gonna pull up the exact quote. But when we think about the time that our children, I always say that we're handing them over, right?
Yes. Yes.
To an individual that's going to mold and shape their personality, right? And
Mhm.
so if you always are with a person that there's no alignment, there's confusion, you start to have no alignment and confusion in your life because
That's
you're going
true.
to replicate what you're around. And so again, so you need to have, what's the first one?
You need to have composure,
You need to have a composure. You need to have
ownership of
Ownership.
everything that you do in front of these kids,
Yep.
owning what you do,
Yep.
and
Alignment.
alignment.
What's the
Yes.
next one?
The next one, Jill, is cultivation. And the reason that I like this is because I think about when a seed goes into the ground and how it
Mhm.
cultivates in the ground before it sprouts up to where we're able to do something, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
coaching should focus on developing the person, not just the athlete. See,
I
what'll
love
happen is we have a lot of people that want to develop the skill of an athlete, right? They want to develop just make sure that he's there to win, no matter how arrogant they could be or how they can suck with dealing with teachers or dealing with their professors or dealing with their moms or dads. But a coach just want to make sure they can play and catch that ball or make that basket. But
Yes.
most young athletes will not play professionally. So that's why it's so important
Mhm.
that when you're shaping as a coach, when you're shaping a player, that you are developing his character and who
Mm.
he is. And I always tell my son, I said, integrity, son. I tell both my children, integrity is who you are when no one is watching.
That's it. That's it.
So if you are cultivating a kid when no one is watching you as a coach, let's see how you operate when the cameras are off you, or
Right.
when the
Right.
microphones are taken, or when you're not out there on the field, or when you're walking past parents. You get what I'm saying? The
Yes.
integrity of speaking with parents or talking with parents. See, kids need to see that too. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
athlete, what I start seeing is a great coaches cultivate these four things: confidence, discipline, resilience,
Mm.
and character.
What was
And
the third one? What was the third one?
resilience and
Yes.
character. Because here's what happens. And you don't only cultivate it in your favorite players or your star players. You actually cultivate it in the team. The kid that is quiet,
Okay.
sitting, looking at their coach, or maybe on a bench, may not be getting any playing time. See, you're cultivating all. They're watching you, right?
Yes, they are.
You know what I'm saying? A real leader doesn't just build starters; they build futures.
Oh, that's good. That's
Think about
good.
a real leader don't just build, okay, you're going to start or you're going to make me look good. So I'm going to cultivate you so where when you get out here, yeah, you're representing me in the school or whoever because I develop you. One of the things
Mm.
I noticed, Jill, and you probably do too, whenever, and it's not a bad thing totally. When I notice a lot of people that would train my son in different things, the number one thing they always want to do is what? Take credit for developing the
Of
talent.
course. Yes. Yeah.
I just,
Mhm.
yeah,
They proud. They're proud. They like a proud papa, proud mama, right?
yeah, but what did you develop in that thing?
Mm.
See, and it's multiple people that takes different things and they're developing your kid. You're taking like ownership of cultivating this kid to be the star that they are. But again, you're not just building a player or a starter. These kids are more than just the game they play.
Yes, they
They
are.
only play the game, but they have character. They have who they are. Who are they
Yeah.
going to be to
Yeah.
society?
That's
Right?
so important.
So when you talk about cultivating, I mean, the real thing is you need to cultivate. And I have this here where I talked about in my closing when I'm talking about cultivating. The best coaches we remember weren't just the ones who won the games. They
Mm.
were the ones who believed in us,
Yeah.
challenged our children, helped them become better people. That's what real coaching looks like. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Real coaching doesn't just look like, oh, well, I built that kid and I made them into who they are. Because ultimately, when it's all said and done and they're 10, 15 years, even if they go 15 years in the league, who did you pass this player off?
Ooh, come
Just like
on.
you said, Jill, you're building husbands. You're gonna say, who did I pass my son off to, and how did he do? Now, who did you pass this young man off to in their marriage, in
Yeah.
their because now they don't look at us; they learn from you.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's amazing how we're cultivating, we're developing, we're shaping. We're not just building muscle, shaping a body, right? We're building
Right,
a mindset, the way a person thinks, the way a person interacts, the way a person deals with adversity, deals with you know, now I'm a star athlete. We're dealing with, okay, are you humble? And if
Yeah.
nobody taught you humility, nobody taught you sacrifice, nobody, those types of things. So that is so important. That is so important how we
So,
cultivate it. And then you build a culture. It's just not one special person that you're spending time with. You're building a culture around that organization, around that team.
and when I think about cultivation too, Jillian, I think about I don't want to just talk about star player. I want to talk about the bench player development, right?
Yes.
When I think about what a real coach does, they invest the time in the players who don't start. And I want to stick on that
Yeah.
because what'll happen is if the coach is doing that, guess what the star players will start doing?
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
start making there's iron starts to sharpen iron, right?
Yes.
So then
Absolutely.
you may be a bench player this week, but because the older kids that have came back down to sharpen you because they see the coaches sharpening you, y'all
Yes.
become a force to be reckoned with.
Ooh,
So then
that's
that
so good.
means they stay after for practices. The coach I'm talking about, they
Yeah.
give feedback. So you don't just tell him shoot the ball,
Right.
catch the ball, right? You don't just do that. They build
Right.
confidence. The kid might never be a star player, but
Mm,
they leave the program believing in themselves. Now, that's one thing you can understand. When kids are looking at how a coach treat other kids, if you ignore them bench players, then them other ones that are the star players ain't gonna think nothing of them because they gonna think I'm the shining star for you to
right.
see.
Right.
Okay?
Wow. 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 Okay. So we talked about what again? We talked about the first C is what?
It is
Composure.
culture.
Do you
Yes.
know how to compose yourself? O
Yes.
is ownership. A
Yes.
is what?
Align.
Alignment. Are you aligned? Are you allowing your team to be aligned? C is cultivation. Are you cultivating each and every last player, not your special ones, not your starters? And the
Mhm.
last one is really, I think, when we nail everything down, I think this is extremely important. All of them important, but this one to me is extremely important. A real coach and leader leads with their heart. And
Mm.
so the heart means you care about the child behind the stat sheet.
Yeah.
You protect their dignity. I'm
Mm.
reminded of, and I don't know if you said this earlier, but I'm reminded of an incident that just happened. I think it was last week. Um, a coach not only kicked the kid out the
Mm.
college kid, kicked it, like pulled him out. And again, he thought he had did something.
Mhm.
But you're on national TV and you're literally almost dragging a player off and throwing him, kicking him out, tell him to
Wow.
go to the physically handed it up.
What the kid do?
I think he thought he had like made a fragrant file, did something. But and the coach did come back and apologize. Some people criticize his apology because there was a but behind it. Because you can't apologize and say but.
Right.
Um, but you protect their dignity. This is still a whole human who has hearts and feelings and emotions. And can you imagine? He got to look at that over and over again on national TV. So a coach has a heart, and their heart is led to understand I need to make sure I protect their dignity. And in
Right.
protecting their dignity, you value their mental health. That's my son coming in the door right now. You
Yeah.
value their mental health. You understand that they are someone's son and daughter. They're just not number 25. They just
Right.
not they just not number 0. They just
That's
not
right.
number 15 or whatever that number is.
That's
That
right.
you have to understand that's somebody baby boy or baby girl, right?
Yeah.
And so when you think about the heart, your heart is just not for the player, your heart is for the family. Your heart
Mm.
is for all your staff, right? Your
Yeah.
heart is for everybody that makes the team. And the team is the team extension of the team is the family, the parents, all of the things, right? And
That's
so when you find a coach that has a heart for your kid, it's easy. Like, what coach, what you need me to do, blah blah blah, those types of things. And so when I say to parents, when we talk
right.
about a coach, what I say to parents is that we're not handing over athletes. They always say, we forget their student athletes. The student part is the body. Sorry, the student part is their mind, their will, and their emotions, right?
And academics.
The
Yeah.
athlete is the body. And so we're not just handing over athletes, we're handing over somebody our hearts, a
Mm.
heart of a heart of a 13-year-old, 15-year-old that's learning themselves, right? And
That's
so what I say, if a program wins championship but damages a child's spirit, that's not leadership.
I think I think it was Maya Angelou said, a person will never remember what you said or what you did, but they're going to always remember
How you made them feel.
how you made them feel. And
Yeah.
I think that right there will help coaches that if you're listening, coaches, I mean, we're just two moms that got
Mhm.
experience on,
Mhm.
raising kids that have many different coaches that we've seen. If
Yeah.
they're, I mean, we're just going to just throw these little nuggets out to you that all is not lost, but
Yeah.
kids do make you, kids will always remember how you make them feel. And
Absolutely.
I want to put this out there too. When you talk about heart and having a heart, a coach does have to have a heart for people. So
Yes.
you can't be a coach out here not liking kids, not
Ooh,
liking people you're coaching, and just saying all of a sudden, you know what, I've been coaching this stuff for 40 years, but you've been mean for 30 of them. Like,
girl.
here's the situation. Get that junk up out of here and go sit down and retire. Because we don't need coaches out there. And I'm not
Mm-mm.
talking about the coaches that are hard on kids because they are helping them become better and be better players. I'm talking about the ones that it's said in your conversation. I don't like kids. I don't like
Ooh,
being like that. Or, I'm just here for a paycheck. Oh, they paid me $10 an hour to be up here to coach. Y'all gonna listen to me and I'm get my money and go. No, that's the type of coach I'm talking about. I'm talking about the coaches that are out there and you really do not like children.
yeah. Yeah. That's amazing to me. I remember years ago, I had a girlfriend of mine. We were going to Wayne State University. And at that time, um, she didn't get her degree in education, but she couldn't quite find a job. And so she took she took a role as a teacher, not a teacher, but a what do you call it? A substitute teacher. But
Yeah,
but you know how sometimes you can be a substitute teacher, but you're assigned a class. And that
right.
class could be the whole year, somebody's out, short staff, whatever.
Yeah.
And I knew her from school, but I didn't know her as a teacher or how she performed academically. So one day she asked me to come and speak to her class about careers, certain careers. I think at that time I might have been working at AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the classroom, and she was the meanest person to those kids. Talked to them any kind of way. Had one kid, all the kids was laughing. I pulled her out the hallway and said, "Don't you ever
Mm.
treat these kids." I said, "You better find you a different job immediately because you are impacting these kids' lives because you just
Mm.
wanted to collect a paycheck." Oh, when
Mm.
I say that grieved me, I was like, "Oh, I need to go to the teacher. I need to do something." Hot, what'd you say?
You spoke up. You know how many people would sit there and allow that?
Girl, I said you because I think one child didn't know the answer, and she was like, "Well, he'll never know the answer." I said, "Did you?" I said, "You say that out loud, child?"
That's not funny, but she said that in front of the kids.
Yes, she did.
So then what she did was she don't know. She just sowed seed to bring shyness and shame. And I'm not even gonna raise my hand. Exact. That's what I'm saying. Having a heart for the people. Like I don't understand. Like I love. Like I tell people now, I love my job. Right.
Mhm.
I love helping families because I know God gave me a heart for it. Right.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
you don't have a heart for kids in coaching, see, that's where the cultivation, we talk about the serotonin getting to the frontal lobe of their
yeah,
brain so that they
yeah,
develop. If you want to be a part of a system of creating kids that already feel like they can't do something, then be that type of coach that's going to just coach and be mean to kids or not really invest in the children or develop in their character or there for a paycheck, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And so when I think about Erica, the dogs want to get in the conversation. When
All day.
all day. So when I think about a heart, when you hear again, I think I may have put that quote up there that Billy Graham said, "A coach um, will impact more people in 1 year than the average person does in a lifetime." In 1 year. And so when we talk about how important it is to understand what environment you're putting your child in. You got to inspect. You got to go in and check out what they saying to your baby. You know, all those things. And when I think about just sports in general, so you win all these championships. You have these banners. I think about my husband who played years in high school, played for a second. If you blink your eye, you missed that he played in the NBA. Then he had a number of years playing overseas, won championship, and those fade away. We get older, but the
Yeah.
character that was developed from elementary, middle school, high school,
Yes.
college, that doesn't go away. You know,
Mm.
you were being developed, and so the banners, the championship banners, they all fade. Nobody talking about it, but they're talking about the man. Oh yeah, I
Mm.
remember. Or they talking about, if you look at the person's face when they bring up the coach, is a smile on their face? Are they having good memories? What are they saying? Right? You want to
Well,
be able to say you poured
silence
into. Absolutely, you want to be able to say that person poured into me. I always think about, I'm terrible with makeup.
Mm.
And the reason, what I mean by, well, in terms of, I touch my face a lot. And so, and I love wearing white. So every time I got on white, you see that I got my fingerprint on it somewhere, right?
Girl, get
And I
asked it won't even rub off. We'll
say it
talk.
again. Ooh, I'm gonna have to
Esther
do that.
won't even rub off. Okay.
Amen.
Go
Um,
ahead.
but the point that I was making is that every time you impact a person, you are leaving your imprint. You may
Mm.
not see it, but you have made an imprint on that person. And the more you're with someone, your imprint is all over them.
All over.
So imagine, me and my makeup. I got fingerprints from my mama, my daddy, my
Mm.
sisters, my girlfriends. What impact did they have on me? What
Yes.
impression did they leave on me? So, coach, when you don't say, good job, Johnny. I know we didn't win that game, but I know you gave 150%. I
Yeah.
so appreciate you. Tell you, how's your mom and dad doing? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
really? You hungry? Let's go get some lunch. Whatever
Yeah,
that thing is, that coach, that child is going to remember you.
they
And
are.
I'm using the word child lightly because we talk to parents in elementary, but a child's heart can be that 25-year-old that 22-year-old that you are overseeing in college for, with the transfer report. It may not be a year. It may
Right.
it may not be 4 years. It could just be that 1 year that you've sown into their life. And what type of impression have you made?
And I'm gonna tell you, you're right, Jill. Kids know when you care for them and when you don't. They know
Mm,
when you're dealing with them and tolerating them and pouring into them, right?
yes.
And so they'll tell you. And so that you're right, Jill. I like how you talk about what you just said was so pivotal because kids will, if you're the type of coach, I remember one coach um, told me he talked to my son. I think it was Coach Bellamy. And I like Coach Bellamy, Coach Bell. He had pulled my son to the side. I guess I don't know if Samaj was, he's known him all his life, just about since he was 5 years old. But he didn't talk to him about football. He wanted to just talk to him about life.
Mm,
Now, that means that I don't need to ask you about your next play or your next, thing, or we're going to have a meeting. But he just said, I just wanted to talk to your son about life.
yeah.
Me as a mom, I think that sows into a kid's heart. They may not understand it if you don't agree with some of the things they do or they do. Because I just want to talk to you about life so much. You get
Yeah.
and then there were moments in my life to where my kid told me, Mom, Dad, I don't want to talk about football. Let's
Oh,
talk about
girl.
something else. Can we
Yeah.
just sit and talk about we at dinner or we took him out to eat? He like, Mom, I just want to act silly with you. I just
I just
want to.
want to be a kid.
He said, I just want to send you some crazy Instagram things and we chant and we laugh about it of how you used to do when I was growing up. Because here's the thing. A lot of people don't know. I'm talking to the coaches that these kids miss out on a lot of what the other kids are doing. They're
Yeah.
not outside playing. They're not going on their little field trips a lot, like Cedar Point, like other kids are in the summertime. That's what we were doing. We were traveling for basketball, for football, for 7-on-7. And here's what they do. They lose out on having fun.
Yes. Yes.
So if
Absolutely.
a kid can be coached by a coach that don't have heart and don't know how to have fun with that kid, you're gonna lose them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's so important.
Yes.
I was at I'm so excited by my role and some of the things that I do for the company that I work for.
Hmm.
And one of the things that we talk about is that we're not just pushing and delivering boxes to people, right?
Hmm.
And the people that are there, whether it's associate or a leader, um, you're working with people who have feelings, who have emotions, who have desires. And so if you're not cultivating relationships with those people or just showing up that you actually care for them and care about what they're going through,
Yeah.
it's going to show up. And when people just say, I think about that angry woman who said, just shut up and dribble. Dude, we're talking about a real human, right? And
Yeah.
so and so when you say to them, your words don't have any weight, you're not valuable, all you are is just shut up and dribble, or all you are is, you number 25. I remember, I think I was listening to a commentator. He wasn't even saying their names. Number two, I said this. Like, could
Yeah.
you say that person's name? We took time to name our children for a reason because they're not just a object. And
Yeah.
so when you have composure, when you cultivate a team, when you're aligned, when you have a heart for the people that
Yeah.
you are leading, that's a real coach right there. That's
That's
a
the real
real.
coach right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And you know who the ultimate coach is, don't you?
Come on now. The
You
ultimate coach is
see,
our Lord and
talk
Savior
about
Jesus Christ.
coaches. Then
Yeah.
talk about coaches without talking about Jesus.
Oh, absolutely not.
The person
Yeah.
he's on the earth with us, which is the Holy Spirit, because he's the leader, he's the comforter, he's the coach.
Come
He knows
on now.
what it's about. And that's why I said I want to encourage everyone that if you don't know if coaching is even a part of what you need to be doing, and if it is, if you don't know how to coach and don't understand what coaching mean and what the real coach is, connect with the real deal Holyfield,
Yes,
which is Holy Spirit, because he'll show you how to be a real coach. He'll show you
absolutely.
when kids are going through things that you got to stop the game and just say, come here, let me hug you. Or
Mhm.
take you out to eat, because some of these kids you're coaching don't even know where their next meals are coming from.
Come on now.
That's what a coach will do. A coach will learn their kids. So if you don't know, there is a person called Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And for a long time, Jill been knowing him too. Connect.
Yeah.
He found
Connect
over
with the greatest coach.
John 16:13 will let you know where he's found. We told y'all that moms in the huddle, we can't deny who we are. We're going to talk about Jesus on this channel, okay?
Yes, we are all day, every day, all day. I think about I'm studying the names of God, and I think I may have told you I was on El Elroy, the guy who sees. A coach sees you. Whether
Mm,
you are sitting on a bench, whether you are the diamond, the guy who sees you finds a diamond in the rough, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your playing skills. It's like, man, there's something really good about this kid. I want to pull him on a team. He may not be the best player, but he has a good heart. He has
yeah,
potential. It's
yeah.
the guy who sees. He's the ultimate coach. I was just looking at some, a good coach studies film. The Holy Spirit studies your heart,
Mm.
knows your heart, right? The
That's a
a Come on now. A good coach gives strategy. The Holy Spirit gives wisdom.
wisdom,
A good coach develops talent. The Holy Spirit develops character.
character of the
Yeah.
nine spirit.
9 fruits of the Spirit. And so if you oftentimes, that is why I'm gonna bring it back home. That is why it's so important. I think about First Timothy chapter 2, verse 1-4, where it tells us that we're called to pray for those that are in leadership. So why? That we
Yeah,
may lead a quiet and peaceful life from all godliness and honesty. And so if you have a coach that
yeah.
aren't demonstrating those 5 characteristics, it is your responsibility as a parent to say, you know what?
Hmm.
I'm gonna pray for that coach,
Yes, because sometimes they don't know.
because sometimes they don't know. And we're called to do that. We're called to pray for those that are in leadership.
We are, no matter how evil they are, no matter how negligent they are, no matter how what happens, we are called to do that. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, this last thing. what I'm thinking about. But to coach and to be a coach, it is actually a calling. It is something that God calls you to in the earth.
Yes,
Because when
absolutely.
He calls you there, He knows the people you're going to affect.
Yeah.
And if you affect the right people, you can inject great leaders in society.
Ooh, let's go good.
You that when you know what you called to do, instead of calling it causing a wreck in people's lives, being the
Mhm.
coach is a calling.
I
And if
love that.
out there, we're gonna thank God for all those good coaches that are out there doing the 5 C's of a real coach. I mean the five C.O.A.C.H of a coach, the real coach. We
The
thank
real.
God for you out there. We want to
Yeah.
let you kudos to you, pat you on the back because there are some of you out there saying, I do that already, or
Yeah.
I'm now. We want to encourage you, continue to do it and do this. How about you build other leaders like yourself that's going to
Yeah.
do the next generation to where it doesn't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And a coach too. I mean, we need to add this. A coach is always looking to develop because a coach knows that that's not my title. That's who I am. Someone else could take the title. And I want to make sure I develop the next generation of coaches who will impact the next generation. I think about Erika. I may have said this before. The first time that I had taken Jonathan to try out, I think it was for the family. It may not have been. I can't remember. And
Mhm.
Coach Tony Tolbert was his coach. And this was a long life friend of my husband's. So my husband was confident that his son was going to be in good hands. And so I'd never taken him. I think I may have met Tony on a few occasions. Obviously, he came to our wedding, the whole nine. And so I'm there with Jonathan. He's practicing, and Coach had a foul mouth. So we
Yes.
don't. And we didn't. And they were fifth graders, I think, fifth or sixth graders. And we don't cuss in our house. So my mother-in-law, nobody around cuss. And so I
Mhm.
remember Jonathan, was practicing. And while they were practicing, I called you and I was like, "This, are you sure?" And he was like, "Babe, he in good hands. That's my boy. He might have, he might use choice words, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Okay." So we got in the car. I don't know if I told you this before. We got in the car. And John
Mhm.
said, "I guess I won't be playing for him because he cussed so much."
Oh, because he knew his mama. He like mama.
He knew. I was like, that's between you and daddy. That's between you and daddy. But the
But you
point,
let him stay because he was a good coach
but the point was, he had a heart
for the
for those
kids.
boys. His
Yeah, because
heart was
my baby.
so, yes, his heart was so big for those boys. You could listen. Coach
Yeah,
would grab them up. They still talk about that to this day.
I
They,
know.
we were building young men. He was like, "No, you ain't gonna act like that." And so I want to make sure we bring balance. That nobody's perfect, right? Um,
Yeah, they're
you
not.
know, you're gonna have
He
your.
was a
He was a great coach. He was a good man, and they
rest
had
in
some.
October. Rest
Yeah,
in
yeah. So I just wanted to bring balance that nobody's perfect. We not perfect as moms. Our husbands are not perfect as husbands. Our children are certainly not perfect. But our job is to train up a child, right?
and
And
they should go. Yes.
yeah, and put them in position to grow and develop. And the way that they grow and develop, they're around real great coaches, real
And
great leaders.
and I will say, just to follow up on that story, it is so true. I went to a practice because I had to take C.O.A.C.H to a practice with Tony.
Right.
And I thought to myself, now I did the opposite reaction of you. I want him to get in his tail. That's what I said. So I'm promoting the
Right,
shenanigans of
right,
Tony
right,
Trouble.
right, right.
All
Funny.
right, Mama, thank you. Get in my kid tail. He didn't
Yeah,
heard every word, I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
somewhere. But
absolutely.
here's the thing that I loved about Tony. Like you say, he had a heart for our kids.
Yes, he
You know,
did.
till this day, Samaj talks about him being one of the most impactful coaches
Jonathan too.
ever had in his
Jonathan,
life. That my kid talks about, and I know a lot of kids. They're
yeah,
not just the only kids that have. They
yeah,
won many championship with Coach,
yeah,
and so it's one of those things where, man, it's such an honor. It's a badge of honor to wear as a great coach, as a real coach.
yeah,
He
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. And it's some amazing coaches out there. We have had the privilege of being What Jonathan is at University of Wisconsin, some amazing coaches. The
Yeah.
coach that he had at Brother Rice, amazing coaches, right?
Yeah.
Coaches that he had with the family. We have been truly, truly blessed. I think about oh, why am I drawing a Marcel Smith with the family? He taught me so much about just at a young, and he a young brother, be trying to drop nuggets. I'm like, where you get that from? Well, he's a man of God, so that's where it comes from. But I've learned a lot being around. My husband obviously is a coach. I'll say,
And my husband is a coach.
yeah,
You will hear a lot of coach. They think somebody coming into the house. But
okay.
yeah, kids will always tell how a coach makes them feel and how they treat them. And he's developed many different people. I'm telling you, there are people that are around us that are great coaches that we can look to and say, okay, thank you for pouring into our children's lives. But ultimately, like I say, it goes back to what you said. The last part of it is having a heart for these kids.
Yes, yeah.
Having a heart for these kids.
Yeah, and wanting the best for them, because sometimes wanting the best for them may not be wanting the best for the program, right?
Yeah, it can
Right.
happen. It
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Two things can coexist, right? And
Yeah.
so, I even think, and I say that to say, when you think about, because a coach is a leader. When we talk about leadership, there are times where I've had leaders that said to me, and I've said to them, right now this is probably not a good fit for both of us, right? So maybe
Yeah.
I was in a position of leadership, or perhaps there was a role that I might have outgrown, or just wasn't a good fit, or perhaps whatever it was. A good leader recognizes this might not be a good, this might not be a good,
And that's
you
where
know.
humility comes in at.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
everybody don't want to think
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right.
Or this might not be the right position for. I know you want to play point, but that's not what we need for the program. I'm gonna need you to sacrifice, and I'm gonna need you to play this. Or I know you wanted to be on this team. I know you want to be on varsity, but you're
Mhm.
not right. You're not ready for varsity right now. We're gonna develop you in JV, right? And so, a
Yeah.
great coach, that should have been one of great coach, is a great communicator, right?
Mm.
So anyway, I could talk about this all day.
I can
Um,
too. And I
yes.
hope that the parents and everyone that are out there listening to the moms in a huddle, when we come here, we banter and we talk and we explain and we're talking and giving different nuggets. We do it from our heart. I hope that you guys are learning something or pick up something that you could take and say, hey, that moms in a huddle, they are really giving us insightful information that we can take and grow with, because that's what we're about. Because in the huddle, no parent does stand alone, and standing alone on nothing in life. Everything is we go through everything together, whether we want to realize it or not. We just do.
Yeah, we do. We do life together. Yeah. Because we
Yeah,
in the huddle.
that's it. We in the huddle.
We in the
So,
huddle.
all
Well,
right. So,
this was we did good. It's 7:58.
I know, because we can run our mouth for like 2 hours sometimes, but
Yes,
we hope that like I say, I hope that everyone learned something concerning what we're doing, what we're talking about. You know,
I do too. I do too. And so next week is this week we're headed into, I was about to say March, man. We headed into the Big Ten conference.
I know. Woo, this is basketball season. Like I know we
Girl,
in March. This is March Madness, right?
March Madness is
Okay.
starting. So they just ended their regular regular schedule. Basketball schedule ended on Saturday. They won. University of Wisconsin won against Purdue. That was a great win. Um, I didn't make that. I was traveling, but Glenn was there, and it was a great win. And now that's over with. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. You don't live in yesterday's
No,
victories.
you
You gotta
don't. No, you
push it
don't.
forward. You only remember them and rehearse them, as God say. Rehearse them
Right,
and remember them, but you
right.
can't live them. You got to
You
move
can't
on.
live there. Keep moving. Yeah. So I'm
We got,
excited about Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The one and done is
you
you
said
got
what?
it. I said the one and done can be nerve wracking. So in the Big Ten conference, if
I
you
know
play on
you don't pass it, right?
yes. So
Well, we gonna
great.
y'all gonna keep truck it.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
have
keep
some
on trucking.
upsets. We're gonna have some upsets this year. Okay.
No, I know.
I think
Hope
God is for the underdog. Who's the
yeah.
underdog now? Who's the underdog? Sometimes we are underdogs.
A lot of these teams have surprised each other, and so I try to keep up with all the other schools, but I have a hard time keeping up with Wisconsin, right? So we have, Nolan Winter, one of our great players and just a great kid. He I think he twisted his ankle.
Oh, no.
Jonathan's roommate broke his wrist. I think his
Oh,
wrist is
what's the name?
Jack.
Jack.
Jack is out.
Oh my word.
Yeah,
Oh,
so they got two of the players he started with are out, are down, but they have a great team. I mean, everybody is stepping up, and so I'm
yeah.
excited about what's going to happen on Thursday. I'm gonna say Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Going all the way.
Yeah. This is spring. What is it? March Madness. March
Man,
Madness. Okay.
yeah,
We
yeah,
wish the University of Wisconsin the best and everything
absolutely.
they go forward and do. That these boys go out there and show out, do what they need to do, and win those games. Because ultimately, for them, that's what it's about. They want to win.
That's what it's about. They want to win, so they got to bring it, bring it. So, and my husband and I, we have a saying: "Watch and pray." He watch, and I be over there praying, Lord Jesus.
Like the Lord ain't up for for both teams. Lord, like,
I know the Lord be like, Jill, really?
but here's
You
the thing: we thinking that Lord, please let our team win.
I know somebody.
Mom was like, please let our team win. And
Right.
God, this is what God said: let the best man win.
Well, best man win. Listen, I think my friend told me, you think the other team don't have praying mamas? I said, yeah, they do, but they ain't in the hallway. They not walking the hallway like. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. So,
Yeah.
all right, Erika.
All right. Well, love you, Jill. Love you,
Love
everyone
you
out
too.
there too. We thank you. Come back and join us in the huddle next week. You don't know who we're gonna have, so that's why you got to show up every week to know what we do.
Show up. You
You
gotta
got to
show
show
up.
up every week to know what we're doing. So we thank
Yeah.
you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our videos. Actually, make sure you subscribe. Don't just be a looker. Go and subscribe. Okay?
Yes.
Share our videos to other parents so that we be able to reach a lot of more people out there in the sports community so that we can get the recognition of what we're talking about. And so you can also get the recognition too, because we're going to honor you guys too for just being subscribers one day. So you just never know how it's going to come.
All right. All right. Well, have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.